Hey everyone, it's Alex coming at you here. I just wanted to come on and do a quick sort of impromptu video. I just learned of the passing of this gentleman, Ariel Kalma, an artist that is very near and dear to me. I was just watching Stunty's Friday stream, and he opened with one of his pieces, and I didn't realize until after a few minutes that it was a tribute because he had just passed away. I don't know exactly which day of the week this week that he passed away. I know he had been battling cancer, which is something that also resonated with me. I think we were both probably diagnosed with cancer around the same time in like 2020. Of course, he was 78 years old when he passed, so he would have been about 73 when he was diagnosed with lung cancer. And I remember him trying to raise money on GoFundMe for his treatment. He was living in Australia, I believe, for a long time. I believe that's where he passed away. But yeah, a fascinating character. Except I've talked about him a few times over the years on my channel. A guy that was, that studied art and computer science, and was a saxophone player and a flautist. This is from the 70s. This is a compilation came out a few years ago that highlights his work at the GRM, the Electronic Music Center in France, where guys like Ferrari and Parmigiani were, working in this exact same studio. So that's him in the studio there. He started actually playing jazz, because he was a saxophone player. But yeah, by the 70s he was, heavily into, studying electronic music. But it's something that, it was not the focus of his music. It was just another tool that he had. This is a debut from 1975, self-released and self-titled. Self-titled Ariel Kalma, hand-drawn sketch of his hand there and a signature. This is the one that Stunty was playing earlier today. Just a wonderful, heavily influenced by his travels as well. He spent a lot of time in India, spent a lot of time recording, doing field recordings. Was deeply, and maybe his primary inspiration really is nature, and that's imbued in all of his work. It's a very spiritual music, and very much spiritual as it relates to his love of nature, I think. So, for those of you that are scared off by the sort of electronic and technology aspects of the music, it's really it's deeply organic and deeply, I think, personal. That's the labels for that record. Like I said, a lot of these have been released in the last 15, 20 years. This is the one that I'm playing. I'm obviously not in my listening room, so I don't know if you can hear very well, but this is a library sort of record that he did on the Editions Montparnasse label. This one's sort of very Cosmiche influenced. Very rocky at times, but with his own, unique flavor. This is one of my favorites here, Osmos. There's a collaborator, Richard Tinty. So this is a combination, and I think this is actually one of the same photographs they used in that other GRM release. A combination of his he's playing organ, saxophone. He was trained in like a circular breathing style as well, which lends itself very well to sort of the rhythmic and repetitive nature of a lot of his music. So, whoop, that would have been bad. Here's the gatefold. So yeah, again, this is organ, saxophone, and a lot of field recordings, forest at night, forest early morning in the forest, and so on. Some voices. Yeah, and then there's harmonium as well, and bird calls and frogs and just beautiful stuff. Highly recommend that one. I think that one was reissued on Black Sweat. This is from like 1978, I believe. Yeah, and then the rest of these are mostly sort of compilations and things, or a lot of the stuff that he was doing was released as cassette only in the 80s. So this is music pour le rêve et l'amour, music for dream and love. So again, this is I think this is a 1981 cassette that was put out, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago on Black Sweat Records. Here's another cassette that was later reissued on vinyl by Black Sweat. This is work from 1981 to 84. It's called Open Like Flute. Yeah, I think these were, I don't know if they were live recordings or studio or a combination, but yeah, obviously based around his work with the flute and yeah, some processing. In fact, I haven't heard this one in a while, to be honest. So yeah, looking at social media, because I was a little bit surprised that I hadn't heard of his passing, just because obviously the algorithm is feeding me but it thinks I want to find. But yeah, it turns out this guy, Robert Ike Aubrey Lowe, was the one that possibly was one of the people to know of his passing. He's a collaborator, at least since 2015 when this came out on the RVNG label, Revenge label. There's the two of them. Robert's a pretty interesting artist, doing a lot of soundtrack work now for movies. He did the recent Candyman soundtrack. Just flying all over the place. Then 2019 he collaborated with Sarah Davachi, another very interesting artist. She's here out of LA. I think I've talked about her a few times here. This is called Intemporal. Yeah, Intemporal. Again on the Black Sweat label. Yeah, so I guess they met because she was opening for Robert Lowe back in 2015, and then they decided to collaborate. I haven't heard this one in a while either, but it's really nice. So we got harmonium, keyboard, saxophone, and Davachi on the ARP Odyssey. Another collaboration, and this is certainly a pattern, especially in his last 20 years or so, of just doing a lot of collaborations. Sorry for the glare, I'm gonna take that out. With another longtime collaborator, Jonathan Fitoussi. This one's called India. There's a series of these collaborations. Really beautiful jacket on this also. Yeah, a lot of these can be still found pretty cheap. So this series, it's called the Encyclopedia of Civilizations. It's a collection of split LPs by selected artists who offer their own insight into fascinating ancient cultures. So yeah, as I mentioned, he spent a lot of time in India, did Ariel, so it makes a lot of sense that would be his contribution to that series. And then I think the last one here that I pulled was this one, another one that I haven't revisited in a while. This is a collaboration with Gilbert Cohen. It's called Head Voices on a label Versatile Records. This was recorded in 2019. And yeah, look forward to revisiting this one. Lovely back cover as well. And I will mention there's 3 volumes of there's 3 different box sets that compile his work in the 70s and 80s. I think all of it in France. So those are all on Black Sweat Records. I do have one of the box sets I didn't put, but yeah, that's another sort of great entryway, and just if you really want to dive into his more experimental work, highly recommend those box sets. So yeah, maybe I'll splice in a little clip from him live if I can find something good. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and yeah, go listen to Ariel Kalma, one of the more interesting artists, I think, of the last 50 years or so. Thanks.